Alright, so we're still trucking on this thing. We got the lower cowl finished. I'll show you the inside. So all that's welded in. Now we're working on this upper cowl. I got a support for it right here, similar to how OEM had it. This will go right in place so we get welded back in. And then we're done. Then we can move on to the rest of the cowl. I got some of it kind of cleaned down and sandblasted in some areas. We'll get some steel inside there. So yeah, let's get this welded on. Alright, finally finished. At least with this side of the cowl. We have to still do that bottom side. We have to add that box, which is going to have to get cut up a little bit more to get it to fit properly. We're going to be adding it down there where that opening is at. And then we could weld the rest of the top cowl portion that I cut out for that area. And that'll be it. The cowl portion will be done. I did paint it with Steelit on the inside. Turned out pretty good, looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. So just to kind of go over, I guess, everything I did with this. So I did reconstruct this piece, the upper cowl, the way that it was before. There's actually an attachment here that dropped it down further, but since I raised that cowl, we can't have that. And the vent originally was right here. I believe that's why they had more sticking out, was just to make sure that there was like no backsplash or anything, and then getting inside your HVAC unit, your heater core, whatever it was for the Datsun. So I remade that piece. I added this right here, so that way if water does ever get in here, my vent is right here now, and I'm hoping at least that no water will be able to get somehow around that and then up above into the vent. So I made a new piece right there. The old one I took off was a little bit rusty on the underside. So yeah, we're gonna get started on this side now. And I don't think this will take as much time. I mean, I already started with the box. I just need to modify it a little bit to get it to fit that opening better. And then we'll weld it in, seam seal it, put some steel on that, and then we'll weld this top side here, and that's it as far as the cowl goes. And then we can start prepping the surface on, the top portion, get all this ground down, and put some epoxy primer on it. All right, so one step closer. I got most of this down to bare metal. The roof, the quarters, the rear, the hatch slam panel, rockers. Got this all sanded. Then we got the upper cowl area, this engine bay. So we're gonna put some epoxy primer down, and then do all of our body work on top of that. Turned out pretty good. I think what I'm gonna do after I put the primer down is start assembling some stuff. So we're gonna put the rear together, get that on tires, and then we'll do the front. We'll put this on the floor, and then there's some stuff I have to do, like I think I'm gonna weld this up, and I have a different style light that I want to use that will go with my custom tail lights. And essentially they're going to be more of a strip light that's flush with the panel versus something that sticks out. So I need to see where this bumper is going to be at, so I can put this in the right spot, or where I think it should be at, whatever looks good. Yeah. Okay, so probably gonna do a little bit more sanding. Some areas I want to go over with 80 grit. We'll clean it up, clean this garage up, and get this thing sprayed. Okay, late night. It's like 10:30 right now, but we're gonna throw down 2 coats of epoxy primer. We're using SPI. So just doing a little quick video of everything before I spray it. A lot of low spots. It's going to be a lot of body work for this car. I'm not going to spray the backside. We're going to do that later. I still want to get that lower valance or bumper, whatever you want to call it. Get that welded in, and then we'll spray that too. Alright, so we're going to do 2 coats, 2 wet coats. We'll do 1 wet coat first, let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then, yeah, let it sit for, I think, 12 hours or so. at least 12 hours before we do anything with the car. We're gonna fast forward like 3 or 4 weeks from that last clip. I did get a bunch of more work done. We got the epoxy primer down. That turned out awesome. I used SPI's products, and I'm pretty happy with it. It sprayed very well. So yeah, anyways, waiting on some parts for the front and the rear before I can assemble it. I have some parts coming from Apex, but everything is mounted as far as the differential and majority of the front. I picked up those wheels just to be able to get the car off the rotisserie. Those were like $100, $150, just something temporary. And yeah, so now I'm working on putting some reinforcement plates inside here, and I'm using a S550 trunk latch. The latch side will be inside here, or the solenoid. This will come down and engage right there, so that way I can use the key fob or the button on the dash to be able to open this. And then I also did delete the keyhole too. So I'm just going to go over a few things that I plan on doing. I'm going to add a perch from a 280Z on this side and then run another strut up here. I don't know if you could tell, and maybe this is just design flaw with one strut being on the left side for the 240, but that's always under pressure. And we're just weighed down right here by gravity on this side. There's nothing holding it up. So this side ended up being lower than that side, and then it's very difficult to be able to line up your body gaps. So if I lower this, we're lined up there, but we're pushed up on that side. So we're going to add another strut on this side, and essentially what that's going to do is push this end up, and then it's going to push that side down. So that's the idea, at least. We'll see how it turns out. Here's an update on the upper and lower cowl. This is all finished. So originally we cut this out all the way around. This was open. That was completely different. And obviously the lower cowl has been modified and raised up. So you'd never be able to tell that this was cut off unless you looked very closely. So yeah, everything's finished on this. We got it painted with steel on the inside. We got our box over there welded in with the little support right there to the upper cowl. And then we got our S550 wiper motor. This was modified to accept the 240Z linkage. That turned out pretty good. And yeah. So as soon as I get my parts from Apex, we're going to put this front and rear together, get it on the floor, and then we can start working on some other stuff. I think what I want to do next is start making my seat brackets. I'm using the S550 heated and cooled seats. Start making brackets for those, and then I need to figure out how much I'm going to be cutting out of this. I think that's going to get cut out and lowered a little bit, and then I need to see where the shifter and everything is going to lie, and then this entire centerpiece will get modified to fit that properly. Eventually we'll get this coyote back in here. We need to figure out where it's going to sit front to back, get our plates welded on, and then the mounts from the plates to the motor need to be finished. And then we'll get our 6R80 in here, figure out where the cross member mount needs to be for that. We'll have to make a custom one. Drive shaft obviously is going to have to be custom made too. I have a local guy I use that's pretty awesome. So he's going to make me a 1,000 horsepower rated one. And yeah, that's it. Move to electrical at that point, figure out where the harnesses are going to go, what we need to delete. I also have to basically remake my holes for where the heat and AC are going to be at. So that's going to be fun. I'm most likely just going to do update videos instead of showing the actual work that I'm doing. It just takes forever to be able to record, then edit, and I'm really busy right now with work and everything else going on. So any little minute or moment that I have, I come in here and I work. I try to get as much done as I can, and sometimes it takes more time setting up than the actual work that I'm doing. So yeah, we'll keep it updated. We got a lot of crazy stuff coming, stuff that I've never seen anybody else do. As far as this car goes, specifically the 240Z, we're going to be integrating a lot of cool stuff into it. And yeah, I just want to try to get that out of the way. I'll show you something else that I've been working on. Okay, so this is my problem. I have ABS sensors, 4 of them. Normally there's 2 on the rear, 2 on the front. Right now, I have 2 on the front, on left and right side, so 4 total on the front. And the reason why I'm doing that, and this might change, but as of right now, I cannot figure out a way to be able to read the rear wheel speed on this setup. So right now we're stuck with 4 on the front, and that will clear any codes for the ECU. I'll be able to use my cruise control and all that good stuff. I don't necessarily like that. I would like to be able to use the system as it's intended. So I have a few items coming that I might be able to integrate into the back. And if I can get that to work, then eventually I'll come back up here, take one of these sensors out, and just plug the hole. So yeah, interesting stuff. Kind of sucks if I end up having to go with just 4 in the front. But at that point, it is what it is. When I started this, I wasn't even intending on going this far with any of the S550 stuff like this. So if I can get it to work, even cooler, right?